I lost just for a minute there. OBS did some weird crap to me. It says I'm back online. I'm gonna go with it. I do not know what happened there at all. Probably because I have so many programs open at once here. I usually close everything when I'm streaming, and now I have absolutely everything open in order for what we're doing here tonight. So let's have a listen to this. We'll listen. Let's listen to it. Sup, Mikey? Good to see you, buddy. You made it, but we're kind of getting to the end of here. Yeah, you missed all the fun. There ain't a whole lot left to do here, honestly. It's sounding pretty good. Okay. Yeah, MO6. I was kind of thinking the same thing there. Like the moment I saw, excuse me, it's the moment I saw you type that in the chat there. I'm thinking, what if I did, you know, offset the panning for the bass and the bass kick and snare track there. What if I gave that a try, just for kicks? I usually keep my drums in the middle of the mix, but maybe I want to spread them out a bit here. So, if I want to have the proper panning, I need to set those to 32. And just so that you don't get an overload of drums in one side, I'll probably want to put the metals on the other side of the mix a little bit there. Yeah. And the other thing that's been kind of bugging me for a while now, the like straight up synthesizer noise when it's doing all those arpeggios in the background, they're too in the background. I gotta crank this fucker up. I'm gonna put it to max. We're gonna give her 127 there. I want to be able to hear that, you know. I mean, I don't want... It's not supposed to be overpowering, but it should be a little more audible than it is. We'll give that a go. Try the latest finicky little changes we're making here, because let's face it, that's about all there is left to do here. Alright, let's give that a listen here. I don't really have any problems with that. That sounds pretty good to me. I don't want to just straight up declare it done already, but I'm not sure what else I can do at this point. That sounds pretty good, man. That sounds good. I mean, I just close my eyes, listen to it. I'm trying to wait for something to be too loud or too quiet there, but something to be off in the mix. I mean, I'm having a lot of problems to think of it like anything that I could really do to make that sound much better than it is. Like, yeah, that's pretty sweet. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna smoke on it. And while I'm smoking, you guys can just listen to this thing for a couple of loops there and tell me if anything crazy jumps out there. I guess I'll be able to hear it from outside the window there anyway when I step outside, so I'll be right back there. Catches in a sec, and we'll put the tune back on. Whoa, whoa, here we go. Can you hear me? There we go. Sorry to interrupt the listening party. I'm back. More cowbell, eh? I don't think there's any cowbell in this song. I'm not sure if FF6 even has a cowbell noise. I guess one of the metal bangs you could probably tweak the pitch. The pitch. I can't talk today. You could tweak the pitch of one of the metal bangy noises and probably make it sound like a cowbell, I'd guess. But yeah, best song hacker in the Northern Hemisphere. Oh, that's high praise, man. I appreciate that. I'm just this guy. I'm just hanging out, making music. Very nice. Thanks there, FF6 fanatic. Yeah, man. I'm not really sure what else to say at this point. I'm pretty much willing to call that done. I guess I didn't listen to it again. I want to listen to it again. I deserve to listen to it again. Let's have another listen to her. Thanks for the praise, Mike. I'm actually kind of Vlad, like the Impaler. No, glad. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm kind of glad that you blot, like a. Is blot even a word? Clot? What am I talking about here? Anyway, I'm glad that. Grad? Alright, I'll stop. I'll talk like a normal person. I am glad that you brought that up, Mike. There we go. That wasn't so hard. Sushi, with a T, did a version of this song probably some years ago, I'd guess. That's currently in Return of the Dark Sorcerer. It's not bad. I mean, it's not bad for, like, you know, jam the MIDI in Tiny MML and go with it there. I went over this early on in the broadcast, but I don't think you were here, Mike. Tiny MML does not like triplet notes. I explained this earlier. My MIDI that I made here, I did all in eighth notes in a 12/8 time signature. But then whenever I coded everything into MML, I basically treated all these groups of 3/8 notes as triplets. So in my MML, you'll see that I have, I'll make it easier to see here, you'll see that I have a whole bunch of notes with duration 12. 12th note, which in my case is a triplet 8th note. because you can fit 12 of them in a measure. So in MML, that's a 12th note. So if you were to just take a group of 3 triplets and jam them in the tiny MML, you would expect it to spit out, for example, I can do it down here because it's not even the thing I'm just going to delete later. Like, say you had the 3 opening notes of this song, da-da-da, you know, for da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, whatever. You'd have, this is what you would expect. You can't quite see what I typed there. There we go. This is what you would expect right here. A12, A12, A12. That's what you would expect whenever you jam something with triplets into tiny MML. Instead, what you get is this. You get this, which is some sort, it's some sort of hybrid of 16th and 8th notes, which also equals, you know, this equals A4. This would equal A4. But the thing is, this one will play like straight. Da 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 da. This one is more like Iron Maiden. Completely different feel. Swing, heavy metal. Swing, heavy metal. When it's triplets, you want swing. You don't want heavy metal. That's like the main issue that I had with not just like that old sushi version of this song, but there were a couple other ones that I mentioned to you here and there. I think there were a couple like little Super Mario Bros. 3 airships. I remember I tweaked that one for you. That was like a classic case of Iron Maiden when it should be swing, essentially. You had all those tied 16th and 8ths when you wanted 12s, or you had maybe tied 4s and 8ths when you wanted 6s or something, right? So you had to, you have to, that's why, that's one of the main reasons that I just don't use tiny MML anymore. It just destroys the rhythm of the song. So, you know, maybe it's a little more tedious to code everything by hand, but I don't know, I feel like the results speak for themselves, right? If it takes me, you know, 10, 12, sometimes even 20 hours to do one of these, hey man, if the end result is something I can be proud of, I mean, I'd rather have that than just half-ass it and call it a day, you know, but that's just the kind of guy I am. Yeah. Yeah, tiny MML definitely makes it more robotic, like you said there. I went on a bit of a rant there. I kind of missed a couple of things you guys were saying in chat there. Let me just scroll back up here. Yeah, so you guys had to make fun of my inability to speak earlier. Thanks a lot. Oh, Sushi made them for his own samples. Okay, so like he hacked his own instruments or whatever into the game. Okay, that is something that I could definitely see. I don't really want to use him as a guinea pig or anything here, but let's bring up the music player for a sec here. Let me see if I can find it here. Because there's a couple, like, you know, basic do's and don'ts that I can point out in this one. Like, it's not a bad effort. Like, none of the notes are wrong. The rhythm is a little messed, as I explained, because of the tiny MML not knowing what the hell a triplet is. To be fair, most MIDI programs don't know what a triplet is either, so... But yeah, let's put it on here. Okay, first thing that we're hearing there, other than the rhythm being stuttery, is that one, he has the distortion guitar set much higher than I do, so it doesn't sound as crunchy in that range. It almost sounds like a synth when it's that high. And the other thing, there's no palm muting action. There's no chug on the like little da 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 da. It's just na 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 na. Just listen to it for a sec here. And that is because this is something else I explained earlier too, but we'll go over it again right quick. Right here, this is the group of those 3 chug notes. What I did, instead of playing an A12, I have an A24 and a rest 24. Give it a little staccato effect, like, you know, you're really jamming your palm on the string, you know, chugging right in there. Get it nice and heavy. I guess let's keep going with this. I mean, Sushi Man, if you happen to be here, you know, nothing personal. I apologize here, but, you know, we're just kind of covering do's and don'ts right now. I'm pretty sure he's probably evolved his song modding abilities at this point, too. I mean, he's been doing it longer than I have, that's for sure. So let's keep going here for a sec. Stopping it here again for a sec. You can already hear that there's no bass drum in there. So, this and I don't think that's entirely Sushi's fault, because whenever you import a MIDI file with TinyMML, the drums generally are always on one track in like any MIDI that you'd find on the internet somewhere. But, you know, because TinyMML does, you know, it condenses everything, oh god, excuse me, down to one note, you know, per track at any given time. So, like, in my case, if I bring get my MIDI back up here, like, you can see right here these two blue sections. These are my drum tracks. I have 2 drum tracks. So you have to spread that out if you want multiple drums to play at the same time, much like you have to spread out the notes in your chord if you want different notes to be happening in the chord. Like, you know, like if you're playing a triad, that takes 3 tracks. That's 3 notes, right? Let's keep going for a sec here. Just stopping it again here for a sec. That part there, like you can clearly tell that, like, you know, all the notes are right, the instruments are picked perfectly. That's good, but like you can really hear the song kind of stuttering there. Instead of the flow's lost. We went over that earlier with the 16s tied into 8s thing. That's what happened there. That's TinyMML's fault. So if you got triplets, like, you can still use TinyMML. Just be aware that if you're going through your MML file, you're going to have to find all those instances where the triplets are and manually change them to be the right note duration. Otherwise, it's going to sound a little stuttered like what we just heard and will continue to hear, I imagine. Iron Maiden time, yeah. That's the last thing that I wanted to point out about this. The little organ that's going on in the background there. This is something that you're going to see in MIDI a lot of the time. And I actually did the same thing in my MIDI deliberately. I wanted to show you how this would, you know, come out in TinyMML and why it's wrong, but I don't have TinyMML on my new computer and I couldn't find it. But I'll get to that exact same part in my MIDI as soon as I find it here. Here it is. Here's the backing organ part at that part. So, let me just update this for a minute here. I want you to actually be able to see this. I know it's a little distorted there, so let's make sure I got Guitar Pro in the thing. Hold on a sec. This is going to look gross for a minute until I fix it. Oh, wait, never mind. You actually can see it there. It just looked weird for me for a minute. Okay, so you can see this section right here that I just highlighted. You see the little dots on top of the notes. That indicates staccato. Like, it's supposed to be very quick. They're like, this is not a quarter note right here. That's not a quarter note. That's a staccato. It's supposed to, like, stop, like, duh, instead of duh. So when you code a MIDI with staccato, it'll sound fine in MIDI. TinyML does not pick up on that, though. It'll call that a quarter note. That's not a quarter note, though. You don't want it to sound like that, because it has to stop. So you'd have to change that, for example, to like, you know, if this note is an E, instead of having E4, you'd have E8, R8. You know, you have to cut the sound out. So you need that staccato noise. That's what, you know, keeps it sounding punchy, you know, brief. You get what I'm trying to say there. So I deliberately coded my MIDI with staccato here because I was hoping that I could, you know, import it into TinyML and show why it's wrong. But I guess I can explain it, and that's kind of the same idea. Yeah, DN. It's a quarter note, but it's not held out. You let go of that fucker as soon as you hit it. Basically, is what it's supposed to be. Yeah, cool. And yeah, all right. I can close the music player now. We can stop picking on Sushi a bit there. I think that's everything that I pretty much wanted to cover for his version there. I mean, ultimately, it's not bad. I mean, you listen to it, it's like, yeah, this is the FF7 boss song. Like, it's just not as good as it could have been. That's all. That's all. You know. Never knocking the effort. Just the end product could have been better. And you know, like this. I'm not one to say anything because this song right here has been on my to-do list for over a year, and I'm just getting to it now. So you know, someone can put out more volume than me. Hey man, you know, maybe that's a good thing too. DN, this particular track is actually just straight 4/4. It's jazz 4/4 is what it is. I just did it up in 12/8 because it was easier for me to just mash my computer to type all this in instead of having to do a hotkey command every time I want to make a triplet. That's all. It's in 4/4. Trust me, man. I went on another little rant there again, so let me double check the chat room here. Yeah, triples and duples. You have to find the right balance for them. You kind of have to figure out which length of notes that you want for the song. If it's predominantly triplets, you probably want to code it that way. Duples can become annoying, yes, so you basically have to do the mental math to have all the right note durations. So like the MML for this particular song is peppered with 6s and 12s for when it's playing in triplets. Then again, it's also peppered in 4s and the odd 8 notes whenever it's playing straight 4/4, like the drums do that a couple of times, like at the start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, bum, 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 bum. And then, you know, the next part of the song, the drums are 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, patch. So you gotta just, there's numbers, man. Numbers. I like them. Arpeggiation doesn't work as well as you think for emulating a chord effect because the lower notes won't ring out unless they're on a different track. So you might as well just use as many tracks as you need for the chord. It is an interesting idea. It's something I experimented with, but you really feel the absence of the lower notes in the chord if you just play like a really fast arpeggio to try to simulate a chord. It doesn't work. How many bytes? It's only not 9 D2 bytes in hex, I think. It's well under the limit. The only concern that I have is the instrument limit. I'm using 9. No, I set 10 instruments for this song because I needed so many different drum noises to be satisfied with the drum track. So that might be like the only obstacles, to just make sure that, you know, I picked samples that don't take up a lot of memory, so we're under the limit that we need for that. And I guess if we're not, I'll have to do a little fine-tuning with some different samples or modify pitches or whatever to get it working good. I used as many of the built-in synth noises as I could just to kind of get around that, because I knew I'd want 6 different percussion sounds for this. So hopefully that's all right. Like, I know that the drum samples typically don't take up a lot of space, and the string sound is another one that doesn't seem to take up a lot, so I think we might get away with it here. Well, 12/8's just how I notated in my MIDI DN. The song's very much jazz 4/4. It's in 4/4, plain and simple. Like 12/8's just easier to code by hand because I don't have to either do some crazy hotkey or reach up to this button every time that I need to put a triplet or a sixth triplet or some crap in there. It's just simpler that way, man. Yeah. Okay. I honestly really don't have a lot more to say about that one other than the fact that it sounds good, so maybe I'll just play it again for the last 5 or 6 minutes that we got on the stream here, and then we'll call her a night, I guess, or maybe I'll actually play something when I get back, or maybe not here. Maybe not on FF6 hacking. Maybe I want to play something on my own channel. I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys can figure it out. I want to listen to my hard work again. I made that song. I think it sounds good. Let's have a listen. Let's have a listen to it while Tara, Vix, and Wedge just stare at rats forever. Pardon me a minute. Alright. I'm back. I guess we'll call this Q&A time before I figure out what I'm doing here. Let's see. Yeah, TinyMML won't pick up on triplet notes properly. But if you manually code, you know, a triplet, or a 6th, or a 12th, 24th, whatever, they're all just variations of triplets on, like, half, quarter, 8th, and 16th notes. The music engine will pick up on those and play them properly. Yes. So you can, you know, manually fix triplets, and if you're using TinyMML, you basically have to, otherwise the rhythm does sound stuttered. Yes. Yeah, 64ths you'll basically never see outside of something with percussion, and even then, if you're finding that you're trying to do a song and you're limited by 64th notes because MML and the sound engine won't handle anything beyond 32, just cut every note in half. So like 32 becomes 64, 8 becomes 16, 1 becomes 2, and so on. And cut the tempo of the song in half, and you should be able to, or no, you don't cut the tempo of the song in half. You got to speed it up by half. Like if it's 120, make it 240, and you should be able to, you know, effectively have 64th notes in your song if you need to do that. It's just multiplicative math is all it is. You can get around any note length limit if you're creative enough that way. Yeah, 30-second notes are basically something you'll never use. That said, I actually do have a flourish of 30-second notes in my MML file. This little sweep up the organ right here. Rather than using a slide, I did it with, you know, actual notes. Because if you listen to the song, it sounds like someone's just, you know, mashing their hand up a keyboard. If you do a slide, it's just gonna be one pitch quickly moving up to another. So I needed to jam all those notes in there to really get that, you know, that flourish in there. That's about the only time you'll really see 30-second notes. Like, even in percussion, if you're seeing 30-second notes, it's probably because, you know, you have like a, like, you know, thinking like a rock ballad or something at the start there. The drums are really quiet, but then they'll have that, like, you know, really quiet build up on the Chinese cymbal there. That's about the only other time I could think you could really. It's 30 seconds are basically a flourish kind of thing. Any more questions there? I'll give you a few more seconds there. I know there's Twitch lag, delay, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, trap hi-hat. Yeah. Yeah, Mike. I'll be streaming more tonight. I actually have a guest spot on Retro Gaming Live TV tomorrow. So I only found out that I was confirmed for that a couple of days ago. So in all honesty, I'm going to have to practice a little bit of Punch Out tonight, because I rather would not you know, do bad at that if I'm playing on a more well-known channel where I'll have more of an audience than like the, you know, 10 or 20 people that usually hang out with me when I'm playing. So yeah, you know, a couple hundred people watching me, I want to bring my A game. So I will I'll be doing some Punch Out on my own channel in probably a half hour ish. I'm going to want to take a little tiny break here to grab a snack and get another few brews out of the fridge there. Okay, I don't really see any more questions coming in here, but you know, if any of you guys have any questions at all about modifying music, music theory in general, how to code it, where to put it in, instruments, rhythm, anything you can think of, you know, just make a post on the forums, send me a shout, get me on Discord, instant message, whatever. I'm accessible, right? You know, just hook me up, man. I'm here to help you guys out, right? So I think this is pretty much the end of the stream for the evening here. I'm hoping that I can do one of these every couple of weeks there, because you know, the pressure of being on stream actually, you know, forces me to have some sort of deadline and actually get some of this stuff done, right? Because let's face it, this one's at least a year overdue, and I have another handful of ones that are either that much overdue or approaching that. So time to get to work, you know. So anyway, for those of you guys who have not done it already, give this channel a follow. I'm not the only person that will be on here. I'm sure we'll see B-Run, we'll see MO6, we'll see James, we'll see LK, we'll see Cecil, we'll see Mike, Mad, we'll see everyone on here doing all sorts of stuff. This is the new FF6 Central. Give this thing a follow. Yeah, Castlevania, that one song. I think that is pretty much next on my list. So maybe we'll do that in a couple weeks-ish time. I just gotta, you know, figure out an evening where I'm free, book it on the forum, and then I'll be scrambling to be ready for it. So we'll go with that. So alright guys, I'm going to take a little break. I am JackimusWedge. You can catch me on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/JackimusWedge. I'll be playing some Punch-Out there in 15 minutes to half hour, something like that. Until next time, have a great night, and happy hacking.